It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
Very happy to be with you as it is apparently 0 degrees according to my phone and 300 below zero according to my central nervous system. Good frosty morning. Let's get right to your top 5 at 6, shall we? Number 5. On your top 5 at 6, with the big game coming up this Sunday. I'm surprised it's taken this long for Philadelphia Eagles fans to show their true colors. Rolling all around Philly, you'll see photos of the new T-shirt fans are making in anticipation of the big game against the Chiefs. And these shirts say F Taylor Swift, basically, because leave it to Philly to focus on the important things. You've got the Eagles logo in place of the U in the F word, in place of the A in Taylor, and in place of the I in Swift. F Taylor Swift. And people are really getting upset about this, not one of which is named Taylor Swift, because I guarantee you she thinks it's cute.
Her handlers don't let her know about these sort of things, do they?
I can't imagine she sees this as anything but an opportunity. I would be willing to bet there'll be a photo on Sunday posted of her standing next to someone wearing the shirt, and she'll be looking like, oh, come on, guy. But you know what? I look at this. I was thinking about it this morning when I saw this. Only Eagles fans could make me root for Taylor Swift.
Yeah, opposite for me. But I get it. That's where we, take the fork in the road there. No, I don't know. I'm pretty indifferent to it. But I think it is. They're going out on a limb here. It's like printing the Eagles won the Super Bowl T-shirts already.
Yeah,
if you don't F Taylor Swift, then they got to go to a bunch of Indonesian kids. They'll be running around in them. So I mean, good luck. Right. I hope the Eagles fans are able to accomplish that. But
I've just spent some time in Philadelphia over the years, and as I've said since the first time I ever went there, there's not a place in America where you feel more likely to get your ass handed to you. People are just looking for a fight in Philly.
But
they're in bad moods there.
That's in my family's place. Yeah.
If there's somebody that can take them on, it's Swifties, because they get real nasty.
That's very true. That's true.
Yeah.
They come in.
Do not cross them.
It's a hive mentality.
Really?
It's like ants. You get a couple ants, you step on them. You get 6 billion ants, you got a problem.
Yeah.
They're all over you.
Glitter bomb me. Yeah. All right.
Speaking of problems with all kinds of numbers, number 4 on your top 5 at 6, Glasgow, Scotland, at the Crown Plaza Hotel has got a Scotiacon convention coming up, and they've asked everybody who's attending this convention, please don't discriminate others on account of their species. That's right, because this is a conference for people who identify as animals.
Oh, yeah, these weirdos.
1,200 what they call furries will be coming to Glasgow, Scotland to get together. A code of conduct says harassment of any kind is not tolerated, and that includes, of course, race, gender, sexuality, or, quote, the species of someone's fursona. Not their persona, their fursona. Jargon for the animal the person identifies as.
Is this a sexual thing, a furry thing, or is it just a weird thing? It's not.
No.
I crossed those things. The first time I ever masturbated was with a fuzzy football pillow that I think my aunt had made me. It was in bed. I was, how you do with the pillow between your leg. And I was like, I don't know, 11 or 12, whatever age that was. And so furry, when you say furry, I get a semi. I don't know. For me, it's sexual. But for them, it's not. It's just weird.
It's just weird. They're literally just identifying as animals. They feel like they were born in the wrong, not the wrong gender, not the wrong country, not the wrong religion. They were born in the wrong species.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they've all got those insane accents. I'm a Labrador. What are you doing? Calm down. Put on a candle and call me a black lassie. I mean, they're just on top of everything else. Then you've got to listen to these Scottish people yelling at them. Stop touching the other animals, you bastard. That'd be great. Number 3 in the top 5 and 6, Wendy's. We've all been to Wendy's. We talked about the mint chocolate, the thin mint frosty they got going on right now. But I never knew this before. Apparently, there's a secret menu at Wendy's. A secret menu. You'll never see it printed anywhere, but you can go in there and ask for certain things, and they have something on their menu called the T-Rex burger. Now, you cannot get a T-Rex burger at all Wendy's locations, but apparently there are plenty that will offer it to you. 9 beef patties, cheese, lettuce, onions, tomatoes, pickles, ketchup, and mayo. Only 2 buns. 9. A 9 stack. They say it's a little over 3,000 calories, which to me sounds like an undersell.
Yeah.
9 of those beef patties, and you only got 3,000 calories. I would have thought, I mean, just a regular cheeseburger is like at least 800, isn't it? I mean, it's a little nuts. But if anybody ever gets to a Wendy's and gets a T-Rex burger, please, for the love of God, share it with us, because it's the first I've ever heard of it.
Yeah, now I want to masturbate with this.
I was wondering if we could get you there.
I'm looking at a photo of it. I'm just saying. If I rub up against it,
Something
Very
about
good.
that little place in between patty 6 and 7. Number 2 on your top 5 at 6. A study in Australia finds that single men just reek. I mean, they absolutely smell far worse than men who are in committed relationships. And that's not necessarily because their hygiene is worse, but here's the reason. Single men, unsurprisingly, produce more testosterone, and that leads to a nastier body odor. And then, of course, a bunch of women in this study smelled a bunch of single men and married men, and even though the married men, their shirts and their body odor smelled better, the women were more attracted to the single men. They're like, no, that guy smells like a boar, but something about him's kind of turning me on.
Hormones.
Women have evolved a way to sniff out the single men. They don't want to waste their time on someone who's unavailable. So if you're finding yourself married and smelling good, I guess congratulations. You got to try extra hard because the women can see you coming a mile away, buddy. Trust me, that little band of you remove your ring and you've got obviously the little white place where the sun never hits. That's not the only thing. They also smell that cleanliness of a married man coming, and they're not interested. That's how that works. Hey, want to say a quick morning shout out to Champlin, Minnesota. Good morning.
Yeah, Champlin, what's shaking?
The champs, I call them. I don't. You know what? I got to be honest. I'm ignorant about Champlin. Give me something, Ryder.
I'm from the South Metro. I don't have anything either. Is that what you got?
Got a damn good VFW up there. Actually, I think they actually might have closed it. I'm not sure, but I have to check. I know I was up there years ago in an effort to keep it open. And then, much like my relationships, I never checked back. But I hope it's going strong.
Check in, Champlin. Tell us what we're missing. 651-989-ROCK. Number 1 on your top 5 at 6. Ryan Hartman, we hardly knew ye. He's out for 10 games. Minnesota Wild's Hartman suspended for slamming an opponent's head to the ice with his right arm on a faceoff. This is the longest suspension for on-ice conduct since 2018. I watched the video and I thought 2 things. 1, that he should have been called for that. And 2, something tells me there are plenty of players in the league who would not have gotten such a stiff penalty for the exact same thing.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Hartman, it's because he has a history of this, right? So, I mean, he's done it once or twice. It's part of his game, and that's one of the reasons we like him, and we'd hate his guts if he played for someone else.
Exactly. The kind of guy you want on your team. Otherwise, yes, you would hate him with everything you have.
Yeah.
Since hitting the ice in 2015, he has had, this is his 11th instance of supplemental discipline, as they call it. This one will cost him about $500,000. Oops.
Yeah, that's a lot in hockey
stiff.
money. But, again, hockey, this isn't basketball or football. It's hockey, for crying out loud. It's supposed to be a little dirty, I think.
That's the way I've always seen it. There's your top 5 at 6. It's Tuesday, February the 4th, which means Valentine's Day is next week, right around the corner. Ladies, go ahead and thank us in advance. Are you ready for this? According to a new poll, guys, what do you want for Valentine's Day? Number 1 on the list. Man, are we always doing the heavy lifting or what? Number 1, nothing.
Please.
That's right.
Please.
We want nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing?
Nothing. We're keeping the peace at cost to ourselves. As always, selfless men showing how it's done. We would like nothing. Really, we're just protecting ourselves from the inevitable disappointment. And so, it's like when my older brother told me when I was a kid, listen, if you ever start drinking coffee, just drink it black. That way, you're never disappointed when they don't have the right sweetener or the right creamer that you like.
I like this tip.
See,
so for Valentine's Day, go black.
That's exactly right.
You'll never go back.
No. Sorry. Go into a black room, turn the lights off even darker, and just sit there and take nothing. We want nothing.
And we want to give nothing either.
Well, there's that too.
I'm just dropping holidays. The older I get, each year I just drop a holiday. It was years ago. I dropped Valentine's Day. I will say this. A couple of years ago, I thought it would be funny to go through my phone and text all my exes that are still in my phone and haven't blocked me for Valentine's Day. And that blew up horribly, actually.
Surprising.
Yeah.
It sounds funny to me still, even now.
No. There was all sorts of feelings hurt, and the authorities might have been involved for a brief period of time. It was
you might want to leave Valentine's Day behind moving forward.
Yeah.
Just last year, finally, I left behind Arbor Day, and I tell you what, it was with mixed emotions. Not to be planting yet another dogwood tree.
F the trees.
Yeah, but the lower back just called for it. It said, "Steve, enough. You've planted enough trees for one lifetime, my friend." All right, speaking of looking back, it's February the 4th. No shortage of things went down on this day back in the day. 1987. The Los Angeles Lakers destroyed the Sacramento Kings. There was nothing surprising about that. The Lakers were on top of their magic Showtime run. The Kings were terrible. But at one point, the score was 29-0. And in fact, at the end of the first quarter, it was 40-4. It was the biggest, it was the worst start in NBA history. 29-0 in an NBA game. And I mentioned that really just because I wanted to mention that I played a junior varsity game where our team lost 77-0. 77-0, but that's not the funny part. The funny part is after the JV game, our varsity team then played. Yeah. And in the varsity game, after the opening tip, our team, my high school, went down, and actually my brother Dave scored a basket.
Okay.
The visitor scoreboard, it didn't move from 0. It was broken, and it wasn't until the second game that anyone found out. The visitor scoreboard would not operate, and we played an entire game before anyone figured that out because we literally didn't score a 77-0 defeat. Just one of those things that sticks with the old memory throughout your whole life. Those were good times.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show on Minnesota's Classic Rock, 92 KQRS.
Oh, I was just trying to get my facts straight. Unfun.
Unfun.
Not fun.
Not fun, not fun.
It's entirely unfun.
The KQ Morning Show presents
Unfun
Facts.
Let's begin, shall we? Shall we?
Oh, yeah, we'll begin. Tuesday is Unfun Day around here, so here's some unfun facts for you. This is particularly unfun in the land of 10,000-plus lakes. A lake in Cameroon in 1986 exploded.
What does that even mean?
Lake Nyos in Cameroon exploded. It released a sudden burst of CO2, carbon dioxide. Farmers living near the lake, they heard rumbling, and then a frothy spray shot hundreds of feet out of the lake. A white cloud collected over the water. All of this is true. Farmers left their houses to go, hey, what was all that? And then a bunch of them just fell over dead.
Oh, wow.
By the way, 1,700 people died in this giant cloud that went over the valley and wiped people out for up to 10 miles away. Mostly the cloud blew away within a few days, but again, 1,700 people lost their lives. Other people just passed out and then woke up to find themselves surrounded by dead people, like a zombie movie. Scientists determined that the CO2 had been gradually leaking into the lake and it eventually erupted in a release triggered by a rock slide. They have now installed pipes to continuously degas the lake. So watch it, Minnetonka.
Yeah, right. I've been saying that for years.
I'm telling you what. How about this unfun fact? A lot of people know this, not me. Veterinarians oftentimes give cows magnets to eat. It collects the metal already in their bodies, therefore making them less susceptible to hardware disease. Zepp, I'm assuming you know all about this.
Yeah, we played with them as a kid. I didn't know that for a long time until Dad said, all right, and they don't eat them. We ram a big rod down their throat and then just hit a little button, which ejects it into their stomachs. And then if you're a little brother, I'm a big brother. If you're a little brother, you get to dig around through the poop. Because my dad's cheap.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I don't know if we ever did that or not. Do they ever fall out? I think they stay in their guts.
They stay there.
Did you know cows have over 100 stomachs?
I thought it was 4. It's
Well,
100.
whatever. I mean, it's divisible by 4.
Okay.
Sure it is. Every time Zepp gives a number, you have to divide it by 25.
Yeah, every
Hardware
time.
disease. Cows inadvertently eat metal like nails, staples, baling wire, and then you got to put the magnets in there. It keeps it all in the reticulum and then saves them a whole lot of problems, apparently. Who knew? Not this guy. How about this one? Bobbit worms, a type of worm that lives on the sea floor. They can grow up to 10 feet in length, and they can saw fish in half.
Oh, wow.
A worm that just uses itself as a saw.
I can saw a fish in half.
Man, yeah, you can, but you're not doing it underwater in worm form.
That's true.
I'm sorry.
And I'm
that's-
not 10 feet,
That's
yeah.
about as creepy as it gets. Here's an unfun fact. Back in the 1800s, a lot of hospitals, what were called hospitals then, they really didn't understand the significance of hygiene. Like, in between procedures, doctors should do their best to wash their hands. In the 1840s, oftentimes doctors would go straight from, let's say, performing an autopsy to go, I wonder why that guy died. And then they would immediately leave the room to deliver a baby. And,
Well, at least they left the room,
Yeah. It
in the
wasn't
same
until
room.
like the 1850s and 60s that they recognized, hey, soap would be good here. So an awful lot of times, again, going right from like an autopsy, dissecting course, and then you're delivering a baby, and then all of a sudden you're giving a baby a fever at birth. The mortality rate for children was through the roof. And then suddenly someone went, hey, dude, wash your hands. And they went, oh, hey, good idea.
Yeah.
I was born at
It's
the
a
right
mom,
time.
probably.
Probably was. Seriously? You're going to touch me right now after what you were just doing in there with my neighbor's dead body? On this day, check this out. I'm sorry, not on this day, but over a few days in 1994, this is as unfun as it gets. In a town called Oakville, Washington, over a course of 4 days, the Oakville blobs fell from the sky. It was truly raining a gelatinous goo. And it made people very, very sick. There are multiple eyewitness reports, including members of law enforcement and city officials. They said, I just like rain out of the sky, little rice-sized blobs of goo fell continuously. They'd hit the windshield of your car, you would hit the wipers, and it would spread the goo, and and suddenly you couldn't see out of the front of your car. Over 3 weeks, 5 more occasions over an area of 20 square miles. But Oakville was the town that took most of the gelatinous goo blobbers on. And then people were getting very sick, flu-like symptoms. Animals were dying in the fields. People were hospitalized, violently ill. And here's the fun part. To this day, no one has any idea what it was.
Really?
Well, it happened in Washington, Bigfoot, all that. And no one really knows what's going on up there. The Oakville blobs, you said?
The Oakville blobs. Some
All
people
right.
said, we think it's jellyfish parts that were dispersed into rain clouds because the Air Force was carrying out bombing training runs nearby out over the Pacific. And so they were just
They
blasting
blew up jellyfish?
jellyfish into the sky and then blew over in the winds. But there's that would never really... people in the town say, yes, that's absolutely what it was. Scientists are like, yeah, dude, jellyfish don't
Shush.
blow up and rain. So all of the original uncollected blobs, there were some samples turned in. They've all disappeared. Nobody has any idea. The Washington Department of Health just put their hands up and said, we have no idea. We just hope it doesn't happen again. So how about that? If you get a gelatinous goo blob on your windshield, what I've learned is don't use the wipers.
Okay.
That's all.
No,
That's all I can get out of that one.
That's what the scraper's for. You got to get out and carefully scrape that out.
I
Yeah,
guess
and if
so.
you run into an Oakdale slob over at the beer stube, just buy him a beer. That's a whole different deal.
That makes perfect sense to me. There's your unfun facts for the day. How about this? How about those soft little kids we're sending off into the world? We need to toughen up the children of America. We need more dangerous playgrounds. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
Born to be Wild, written by a guy named, wait for it, Mars Bonfire. It's my favorite rock name ever. He wasn't even in Steppenwolf. He was the drummer's brother.
Okay.
Hey, my brother Mars Bonfire's got a cool song. Let's do it. What a great, and I'm pissed because I want that. That's a good band name, Mars Bonfire.
Yeah.
But something tells me his estate would sue. Still looking for that damn band name. How about this? Soft Spaces. How about that for a band name? Soft Spaces. And I say that because our friends in the Netherlands, the Dutch are always ahead of the curve. They're tired of soft spaces for children, specifically playgrounds. They're like, hey, guys, we're making these things way too safe, way too boring, and we got to go back. We got to go back and kick it old school. We got to put up playgrounds and playground equipment where there's a little bit of a risk, where kids have to be brave and daring and risk injury in order to get themselves out in the real world, get them to put their devices down. Boredom is the end of all good things. And by the way, I'm fully with this plan.
Yeah.
My kids growing up going to playgrounds where I was like, what's there to play? You're just standing around like you're on foam. You're out the floor is padded and soft, and instead of bars that you have to defy gravity to hold on to, it was just like weird. I don't even know how to describe the playground equipment that my kids grew up going. It'd be like a little bridge, and you run across it.
Yeah, I was at a bouncy house thing in one of our parks here in the city in Minneapolis this past summer, and I heard a couple of parents arguing because mom did not want her kid to get into the bouncy house. Now, I thought the bouncy house might be the most safest place rather to be, but as the dad's like, it's a freaking bouncy house. She goes, sometimes they fly away. I'm like, there's not even a breeze today. Yeah, sometimes they fly away with little kids in them, which, I mean, what little kid doesn't want to frickin' fly away in a bouncy house? I wanted to get in it after she said that, but I mean, listen, what do you learn more from? A bad experience or no experience? Not a good experience, because every decent parent provides their kids with good experiences. Sure. But you've got to have some bad experiences. The girls grew up next to a big lot of trees, kind of like a woods, really. Yeah. It was acres and acres of woods, and there was some pushback when I said, just go play in the woods. Well, go with them. No, they go out there. Well, what if they probably will, and if they come back alive, they get to grow up. If they don't, then... then it was their fault.
Every morning of my childhood, all I thought while eating cereal, looking out the window was, I got to get to those woods. I got to get to those woods. That was life. Life began at the woods, and it ended horribly at the edge of the backyard after someone would go, dinner, and you'd have to come back in. It's like, man, this sucks. In the Netherlands, here's a policy. They said this is what they're hoping to do. They want to increase kids' access to open outdoor plays. This is a quote. We want our children to, quote, climb, play with water and fire, sword fight with sticks, build with hammers, rope or knives, and wrestle and fall.
You're gonna give them knives?
Yeah,
that's
man!
right.
Hell yeah! Knives and some pot brownies, probably. some great THC baked goods over there in the Netherlands.
Yeah, man. That's beware the Dutch. They'll be taking over the world with these kids in a generation or two. Well, our little softies. Listen, if you leave it too boring, the kids aren't going to go outside, because you know what's not boring? The frickin' video game, man. Yeah. That's not boring. That's wild. That's fun. That's crazy. But yeah, if you want to get them off their ass, let them go out and hurt themselves. I tore off half my face on the monkey bars, and the teacher said, "Do you want to go home?" I was like, well, yeah, kind of, but my parents wouldn't come get me. Mom said, put some Neosporin on it. Literally, the entire side. I had a scab, the size of, a dinner plate on the side of my face. But, yeah.
My mom thought Neosporin was the cure to everything.
Everything, yeah.
Literally
my
everything.
mom thought it was Bactine. Didn't matter.
Okay.
Well, same thing, yeah. Yeah.
I went over the back of a couch, treating a couch like it was stunt equipment. Tried to leap over, caught my foot, landed on my face, dislocated my jaw. Yeah. And I kid you not, my mom, as she approached me to see what was wrong, she already had the Neosporin in her hand. and I was like 7, and I was like, there's no blood. I didn't cut myself. I couldn't talk because my jaw was dislocated. But she reached right for that tube of Neosporin, first things first. My elementary school had a playground, the bars thing. It was called the Swedish Gym. That's what everyone called it. And so you can only imagine, you're in first grade, and you had to be in fourth grade before you could get on it. It was only for the fourth graders.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, the Swedish gym. And we would watch the fourth graders. And once a week, somebody would fall off that damn thing and be screaming and crying and break a bone or dislocate something. And all that made me want to do was get to fourth grade that much faster. Like, I cannot wait to get on the Swedish gym. And I kid you not, day one of fourth grade, out to the playground, they had dismantled it. It was gone.
No.
I was like, wait, what? And they were like, there's too many injuries. And I was like, man, bring that damn thing back. And, of course, as a kid, they say the word Swedish. Now, when you say Swedish, I think about meatballs and tall blonde women and ABBA songs. Back then, I just thought it meant, like, Eastern European hardcore steroid use to climb up this thing. I didn't know what it meant, but it scared the living daylights out of me. I was all for it.
Yeah. I mean, we were allowed to go out and potentially hurt ourselves. And that's, you know, I mean, you learn some things about yourself, right? You got to, we can't put the kids in a bubble, let them out of the bubble. Go ahead and let them get hurt every once in a while. It gives you a chance to be a better parent, right? You get to console them, a little Neosporin, or if it was a really bad cut, what was that dark stuff, that iodine or whatever, that kind of stuff that they would dab on there with the little pen? Yeah, then you got the good stuff. Yeah, right.
I still see the image of my dream was to climb atop the Swedish gym, sit there, find a place where I could sit, take in survey the land beneath me, and then pull out a carton of candy cigarettes. Just sit there on top there, put a candy cigarette in my mouth. Oh, yeah, I got it all going on now, man. I'm smoking a candy cigarette on top of the Swedish gym, and those bastards took it away from me. Still never quite got used to it. But between the candy cigarette, maybe a lawn dart or two, it could have had a much better time.
Oh, yeah.
The dreams were dashed.
Lawn darts. We didn't even try and play lawn darts. We immediately turned it into a game of trying to hit each other. The first thing I ever shot with my BB gun was my brother in the back from about 20 feet away.
Yeah.
We put on all of our coveralls, all of our farm clothes because it was cold. It was Christmas Day. We walked out the door. I shot him in the back, and Dad took the BB gun away. I told the story recently. It was not a cool thing to do. Oh, and by the way, let's not forget, Dad's remedy for this wasn't just to take the BB gun away. He's like, well, you got one coming, Brian. Chris, shoot him. I'm like, wait, what? Yeah, Mom's like, well, don't shoot, not in the head, aim down further. Yeah. Mom was like, all right. So he got to shoot me in the back. And it turns out it hurt, and I learned a lesson.
Go figure. Yeah, payback's a bitch, man. But at least you and your brother made up with a good smoke of a candy cigarette afterwards. I can't get enough of those as a kid.
You can still get them.
Yeah, well, you know what, and I probably should. I would be amazed, I bet, at how much I would enjoy a candy cigarette in between my fingers right now. I spent so much time right there. Hey, we touched on this yesterday. I got a question as I'm looking at my clock, as my phone, I should say, and it's still 0 degrees outside. Did you ever have to rescue anybody or anything after it went through the ice? I want to know about this. I want to hear details. 651-989-ROCK, the KQ Talk or text line. Call us, text us. What or who did you rescue after they went through the ice, and how did you do it? Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show on Minnesota's Classic Rock, 92 KQRS.
Tuesday, February the 4th, Yes with Owner of a Lonely Heart. I remember hearing that the very first time and going, that's not Yes. That's not Yes. That sounds modern. That sounds 80s. Yes is a prog rock dinosaur. What are you kidding me? Who saw that one coming? Not this guy. We shared with you a story yesterday from Indiana about a professional jump roper named David Fisher who heroically stepped up when duty called. To recap, here's a quick audio. Here's David Fisher explaining what went down.
I am a professional rope jumper. The dog went onto the ice pond to chase the geese, and the dog is in the water. The boy went in to try and save his dog, and he's treading water in the middle of the ice pond, screaming. I just instinctively went right for my bag of jump ropes and pulled out the double Dutch ropes. I headed out on the ice pond, and as I start to go out there, I can hear the ice cracking underneath my feet. I sling the rope to him, and he grabs one handle, and bit by bit, we pulled him out of the ice pond.
I mean, come on, that's awesome.
I instinctively reach for my bag of jump ropes. My favorite thing ever. Ever.
Yeah.
What situation does he not instinctively reach for his bag of jump ropes?
My winter survival kit now includes a double Dutch jump rope.
That's it.
I got her in there. I mean, I can't believe I didn't have one. No, I can't. Anybody that goes out on the ice, you got to have a rope, you got to have a hook, you got to have some of these things. I don't go with the whole life suit. Some of these guys show up with these big packs and they've got a whole life suit. I don't have that, but.
Well, this whole thing is just still look, I'm only a couple years into my life in Minnesota, but falling through the ice, seeing people fall through the ice, I've never been there. This is this is virgin territory for my life. And so I'm fascinated. And man, did the KQ Facebook page and the text line light up when we have asked people for their stories. On the phone right now, 651-989-ROCK, we got Chris from Big Lake on hold. Chris, good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Chris, give me your favorite band.
Zeppelin.
Give me your favorite team, any sport.
Vikings, for sure.
Right on. The land of the ice and snow. I like it. All right, what have you got for us, Chris?
Hey, a buddy and I had been fishing in the Gull Lake fishing tournament, and I ended up having to fish my wedding ring off the bottom of the lake. It was 26 feet of water.
What?
Damn.
Hold on. Your wedding ring fell through the ice and went down 26 feet, and you retrieved it?
Yeah, absolutely.
How?
Yeah, my buddy.
How mean is your wife? I mean, how bad have you gotten your ass kicked on that deal?
Well, yeah. So, I heard that unmistakable plop, of something went through the, something fell into the hole. I look back, and my buddy's like, "Oh, dude, you're going to kill me." And I go, "You didn't just drop my ring down the hole." He's been making fun of me earlier about, dude, you got sausage fingers, dude. Let me see your ring. It's huge. So he had to kind of play around with it. And it was like massive on his hand or whatever, drops it right in the hole. And towards the end of the weekend, we had come up with a plan to retrieve this off the bottom of the lake. It was an amazing rescue. I saved him from my wife. Absolutely taking him out.
Man, that's a real friend right there. When you can look at a friend and go, "I saved you from my wife," that's real love. That's good stuff. That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you found the ring. Thanks for the call, brother.
Take it easy, guys.
Man, that I can't even begin to imagine. I like when he says, and you heard that plop, that unmistakable.
Oh, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah, of course you do.
But that was a toilet for you, and there had been some drinking involved, and that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes that's an earlier rescue.
651-989-ROCK is the call, KQ Talking text line. All right, from Blaine, we got Ole on the horn. Ole, good morning, sir.
Ole.
Good morning, Steve and team. How you guys doing?
We're great, brother. Give me your favorite band.
Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band.
That'll work.
Excellent.
Favorite team, any sport.
Your Minnesota Wild.
All right. Ole coming in strong. What do you got for us today, brother?
So this is a rescue mission. My mom and dad, about 30 years ago, decided to go up to the cabin for Thanksgiving, and there snows and it's beautiful out, so they decided to go out for a ride, just the two of them. And this ice hasn't really firmed up yet, and they're out there about a half hour away from the cabin, and they get into a swampy area, and the old man's the trail boss, so he's up ahead, and he shoots right through the swamp, and Ma's not a gifted rider, and so he gets in the middle of that swamp and buries the machine.
Yeah.
So she gets off to see if she can't free it. She goes right up to her waist into the swamp through the ice.
Oh, jeez.
So the old man comes back and he's pulling on her twist and turn, and I can't imagine what that looked like. But they get her out. But she comes out barefoot. Now her boot is at the bottom of that swamp.
Oh.
They're half an hour away from the cabin. She's barefoot. Yep. And throw her on the machine. They get her back to the cabin, get her warmed up. All's good. So phase 2 of the rescue mission kicks in now. We got to go up there the next weekend and free that machine that's still stuck in the swamp. So me and my brother-in-law, my brother, a couple other guys, we go out there and dust the thing off, fire it right up. Well, we got tools, hammers, and stuff. We're chipping about an hour and a half to get that thing out of there. I mean, crap, the thing, it looked like a shipwreck from National Treasure just sitting there in the ice. Anyway, we get it free, ride it home, and at the end of the day, Ma, she still got all her toes. She still got her foot. But she ain't got no boot because it's sitting in the middle of the Kimberley swamp up there in McGregor.
Man, that is strong right there. Ole, thank you for the call, my man.
Oh. You're an Ole when you can tell a story like that. That's an Ole story right there. Chris did a pretty good job, too. I like that. That's not bad.
The KQRS Facebook page asking about some falling through the ice stories. Nancy wrote, my brother once went on to a lake to save a duck.
Yeah.
Yes, a duck. My dad happened to drive by, and he was concerned about that stupid kid on the ice after a duck. Once Quackers was rescued, my dad realized that stupid kid heading to shore with a duck was his stupid kid.
No, they don't fall far from the tree, do they, Dad?
Not. And then she said, we kept the duck for a while. That's good.
Yeah, sure, a little pet duck deal, until it was time to eat duck. Mm-hmm. My brother and I were out on the four-wheeler one day, and we just go across a little stock dam out there in South Dakota, dugout. And as we're cruising across, it's thin ice, and we go through. It doesn't go down very far. We went in about waist deep, and those stock dams are pretty muddy, but we got out of there with our boots, but there it is. So I drive back. Now our ass is grass, right? Dad finds out because he says, don't ever drive across. So we go back. We get the tractor with the bucket. We go down there. We chain it up. We pull it out, take her home. Couldn't have got her cleaned up any better. We thought, I think we got away with one right here. Dad drives in. Truck goes over, looks at the four-wheeler, looks at the tractor, comes over and says, you went through the stock dam, didn't you? And we said, how? What kind of dad powers are that? How did you possibly know? He said, well, I took the section line on the way home. Clearly, I could see your tracks into the big hole in the stock dam. I was like, oh, yeah, we didn't.
That, right.
Couldn't cover those tracks. But, everything ran. We got away with our boots, unlike Ole's ma.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Mike on the Facebook page, trapping as a teenager, fell through early morning 2 miles from the house. By the time I reached home, my coveralls and pants were frozen stiff, causing me to walk peg-legged the last half a mile. That's an image. That's a visual to carry us through. All right, it's cold out there. Good God Almighty. Makes me think about ice and falling through. A lot of posts on the Facebook page. A lot of text messages coming in. Apparently, a lot of people in Minnesota have stories about the ice and how it's not usually as thick as you might think it is. Brian texted in, I think this is fair to say as Minnesota as it gets. Good morning, 92 crew. I broke through the ice. I'm wearing a jeans jacket with that fake wool and knee-high rubber boots. Oh, yeah. I crawl out, walking home. My friend's parents pick us up, and they take us to the mall for a piano recital. Needless to say, it was a cold few hours.
Oh,
pile in. Thanks for the ride. We're going to the mall for a piano recital.
I wouldn't want to go to one all dry and cozy, in my favorite clothes. Yeah, that's insult to injury right there. But that's Minnesota living, I guess.
Man, that is fantastic. I mean, I can only imagine the relief followed by the horror. Well, it's horror, relief, horror. Horror, I fell in. Oh my God, I'm colder than I've ever been. And then the relief. Oh man, my friend's parents. Here they are. They happen to be driving down the road. This is great. And then you're at a piano recital at the mall.
You know what else is very Midwestern is Eric's. I like it short and sweet. Falling through the ice. His response: too many times to count. Really?
Eric, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope he walks around with a rope tied around his waist.
Yeah, you might want to. Yeah, there are things you could do a little differently. Callie wrote on the Facebook page, lived on a canal with springs, ice skating. I think everyone in my family fell through at least once. The test was if Dad could skate on the pond, it was safe for the rest of us.
Well, that's what dads are for.
Man, I guess so. Man, taking the potential hit for the kids every time. Holy smokes.
I forget which lake it was, Cass. They might have done this up in Grantsburg, too, at the pond there in town. That's right, I called it a pond. But I think they did this out at Cass Lake. It's not uncommon. I haven't seen one in a while. But around here, they'll take the car and put her out on the ice. Mm-hmm. And then a chain from the car to the shore. And then everybody starts placing their bets at the local bar, the dive bar, when that car is going to fall through the ice in the spring for ice out.
No way, that's awesome.
What day do you got? And I know I've bought a couple of squares. Come to think of it, I never went back to see if I might have won. Probably not. But yeah, when's she going to go through?
Oh, that's my kind of a wager right there. I love that.
Yeah.
Wow, buying the screw buying the squares for the Super Bowl. Give me some. When's the car gonna fall through the ice, man?
Yeah.
That is outstanding. Hey, you can see the new documentary Becoming Zeppelin February 10th through the 12th at the Roseville AMC Theater for free. Sign up to win passes at 92kqrs.com. From one bit of cold information to another. Now, this is ice cold. Check this out. From Buffalo, New York, two married couples sitting together at a Bills game.
Okay.
This season. They're there, 4 seats, husband and wife, taking in a Bills game together.
That's not a cheap date.
No, it's not a cheap date.
Yeah, right.
And apparently, one of the men, one of the dudes of these two couples is having an affair with one of the women. The other, so one of the men and one of the women are having an affair, unbeknownst to their partners. All right, so you got two couples, two of whom are cheating with each other on the other two. They decide during the game to rendezvous in the men's restroom.
There you go.
I gotta go to the bathroom. So do I.
Oh, jeez.
They go into the men's room, they go into a stall, and they get it on. Security is alerted to the fact that in the men's room, something a little more than the norm is happening in one of the stalls. Security comes in and busts these two people, and in fact, they end up being arrested. Arrested for public whatever, indecency and whatnot.
Extreme.
For taking up one of the valuable spots in the game's bathroom there. Come on.
So check this out. Here's where this is all leading. A security guard, one of the stadium staff, then goes back to their seats to retrieve their belongings. Well, the other two spouses are sitting there, and a guy comes up and says, hey, I'm grabbing that coat and that purse. And the people sitting there like, what are you talking about? Oh, well, the two people sitting here, we just found them knocking the nickels out of each other in the bathroom, and they've been arrested.
Ooh.
That's how the other two people found out their spouses were cheating with each other. So first of all, you're at the game.
Yeah.
You're sitting there with your friend's wife or your friend's husband. They're out going to the bathroom, and then a security guard comes up, a guy you've never seen, and goes, "Oh, those two? Yeah, we just caught them, doing the do in the bathroom." Now, there's
They
ways,
scored.
Absolutely. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can find out your partner's cheating on you. I can't imagine one much tougher than this. And the overwhelming tragedy of this situation is, they're just Bills fans. I mean, my God,
right.
You got to sit in that weather and watch the Buffalo Bills. You don't even have a roof over your heads. And then on top of it, adding insult to injury, this happens.
Their life was bad when they got there. But now, I mean, am I the only one thinking if I'm one of the guys sitting there, the other half, the male half, sitting there in the seat still, and we get the news, do you look over and say, well, I mean, what do you think?
Time to even the score.
Yeah, and
right?
I'll tell you what, I'm going to keep it classy. We can go home.
That's exactly right. You know
your
what?
place or mine, they're not going to be there for a while.
I got a great idea. Let's go to the bathroom of our choice at either of our homes and do the same thing. Clearly, we'll keep it in the bathroom, but at least there'll be heat. Maybe there'll be some hot cocoa. All the comforts of home.
I thought the life lesson we learned from Brian Zepp yesterday was that you need to find one of those family restrooms.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm telling you, they got the baby changing table in there for you, so you don't have to lay down, so you don't have to soil yourself. And they're big too, and usually a little cleaner, and certainly the privacy is a nice touch.
I feel like you're talking from experience.
To complete the Brian Zepp life lesson, there's no heartbreak you can suffer that a changing table and 4 old fashions won't fix.
Well,
you got a point.
Yeah,
the guy knows of what he speaks. I mean, I I had a suspicion. I've never found out anybody was cheating on me. I thought I was about to find out, and then it turned out to be just me being weirdly possessive and jealous and insecure. But I can say, I'm not saying no one's ever cheated on me. I'm just saying if they did, I never knew about it. So kudos to everybody I've ever been in a relationship with. If you got away with it, you got away with it, because I never found out. But, man, of all the ways to get that information, it's not, I uncovered a text. It's not, hey, a buddy pulled me aside and said, hey, man, I don't know how to tell you this. I just got to tell you. It's not that at all. It's a dude working security at a Bills game. Right? That's the part I just cannot get over.
That, and it takes a while to arrest a couple, get them to wherever, and then blah, 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 and hey, bud, can you run back to their seats and get the... I mean, while all this is happening, there's got to be a bit of... So they sure are taking a while.
Yeah, no kidding. What do you think they're getting up to? I get, you know what? I bet to that point, I bet one of these two people, at least, if not both, then had that. I always had a weird feeling. Oh my God, maybe this is being confirmed. But then their next thought would be, well, it's not like they're going to go do something in the middle of a football stadium during a game
that we paid hundreds of dollars to attend.
Man,
hey, you're right. That does add the insult to the injury. There I go again with that old saying, because it's like, so they got that passion? You've just got to, right in the middle of the game, go for it. We used to have that a long time ago.
And you know what else? You know they were planning to bring back some great concessions, because you got to overcompensate. The dude was going to bring back a whole a tub of beers, some pretzels, and he was going to load them up. Hey, I just thought I'd grab some extra stuff for everybody. What a great guy. This dude's awesome. He brought me back a bratwurst, 2 beers, and banged my wife in the bathroom. Man, what a friend.
Steve Gorman, if somebody brings me back all that so I don't have to stand in line or miss any of the game, you can bang the old lady. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree. The only thing I would suggest is just ask up front. You know what I mean? You don't have to run around.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and lay it out. Say, hey, man, I'm thinking that me and your wife need some moments alone, a little time to get to know each other. But I tell you what, I'll get you a bratwurst. I will load you up, my friend. I'll get you a pretzel with mustard and cheese sauce.
After I serve your wife, I'll serve you. Then what do you do after something like that if you're the cheater? Do you go home? That's a long drive home.
They slept in jail.
Of all the questions that you're
they don't keep you overnight for that, do they?
You're going to have to answer a lot of questions. But the first one and the hardest one is literally simply this: at the game. Really? At the game? At the game, in the men's room at the stadium? What the hell is wrong with you? Oh, my God. I just even thinking about that, I'm right back in 6th grade, and I've just cheated on a test, and I'm waiting. Did she notice we were passing notes? My God, you go right back to that. At the game? Seriously. You couldn't even wait till halftime. Second quarter.
Right.
Unbearable. I was tense too. You didn't see me sneaking off to knock the nickels out of somebody.
Yeah.
Hey, you can find the KQ Morning Show podcast anywhere you get podcasts, anytime you want. Sponsored by our good friends at Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies. Oh, suddenly I am hungry. The top 5 at 9 coming up. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show on Minnesota's Classic Rock, 92 KQRS.
651-989 Rock, of course, the KQ Talking text line. A few texts coming in now. Zepp, you mentioned wagers being made on when a car will fall through the ice. A text came in. They still put a car in the lake every year in Menominee, Wisconsin, and let it fall through. Menominee, Wisconsin. I added a ha to the word Wisconsin. So excited about this. This is another one of the things I'm adding to the list. I need to go and stare at a car and try to figure out when it's going to fall through the lake. I'm looking forward. That is my kind of winter fun right there, man.
Yeah, you got to go back and check on it, and luckily they serve beer, a Bloody Mary, so you can, enjoy the view, as it were.
Another text came in. It was they sent a photo, winter driving tip number 72. If your car falls through the ice in water deeper than 50 feet, Remember to slowly exhale while ascending to avoid getting the bends. Also, look for walleyes. If possible, note their depth and what they're feeding on.
Yeah. That reminds me one time I went up to Lake Orbegon up there. Not Wobegon, Orbegon up by Virginia. And they got tall pine scuba up there. And it's one of these old quarries. So they just go scuba diving up there, and they've sunk some old buses and train cars and old plane down there. And you go scuba diving. So I went down there, and there's a bunch of bass. And if you just wiggle your finger, the bass will come up and nibble on your finger a little bit. But anyway, I came out of the water probably 20 feet away from a dad and a son fishing. Had no idea I was down there. First of all, they looked at me like I was the creature from the Black Lagoon. And all I could think to say to them was, there's a whole bunch of bass right there. Just come right over there.
That's it, yeah.
That's where you get them, right there.
It works every time. All right, let's get to your top 5 at 9, shall we? Let's. If you're just joining us, here's some stories that jumped off the page to us this morning. A big game on Sunday, Eagles and Chiefs, and Philadelphia fans proving that they are still very much Philadelphia fans. Apparently, they're concerned at what sort of plays the Chiefs are going to run for Taylor Swift. Because they're all up in arms about Taylor Swift yet again. Somehow she is drawing the ire. They're not mad at Andy Reid or Patrick Mahomes for winning 2 straight big ones, going for their 3rd straight. It's all about Taylor Swift. The F Taylor Swift t-shirts where the are in big broad letters, where the U in the F word, the A in Taylor, and the I in Swift, all the vowels are Eagles logos. So, but in big block letters on shirts and hats now being sold, F. Taylor Swift, because as I said, Eagles fans believed, apparently the rumor, that she has been working as a wideout on several options. Andy Reid going to go deep to the bench and bring in a pop star for the game-winning touchdown, apparently.
All right. Well, I encourage all Eagles fans to go out and buy one of these, because you know what you're not buying? An Eagles won the Super Bowl championship t-shirt.
That's right.
Most likely, it could happen. I just want to hear about a good game on Monday, which we're taking off, right? National holiday. They get that done? No?
I mean, that's got my vote.
We're still
got everybody's vote, yeah.
We're doing all we can here. But, okay, so with that in mind, we think that the Monday after the Super Bowl should be a national holiday. Would you prefer then, if you can't do that, would you just say play it on Saturday so we get that Sunday off? Or would you keep it as is?
No, they won't do that. And the reason they won't do it, I heard some sports geek talking about it recently, is because they make too much money on Saturday. It's too much revenue for the cities, that is.
Sure.
You come into the city, everybody drops more money on a Saturday than they actually do on a Sunday, doing all the pre-events and stuff like that. And it's Super Bowl Sunday. It's got that. So it'll stay there. No, let's just make a 3-day weekend. Take one of those other 3-day weekends and repurpose it. Do whatever you got to do. Come on, America demands it.
I think it only makes sense. Number 4 on your top 5 at 9. Glasgow, Scotland is gearing up for a pretty heady week. There's a furry event going on, and they're making darn sure that these furries all get along.
Man.
If you, like me, are asking when you first hear that, what the hell is a furry? A furry is a person who believes that they are actually an animal, actually a human in animal form, or at the very least, they just really like to dress up and pretend to be an animal. There's a condition called species dysphoria. A person feels that their body is in fact the wrong species. They are the wrong species.
I mean,
many children apparently around the world are now trying to identify as foxes, dragons, birds, snakes, sharks, whatever animal. Unclear what they think they are. And so a bunch of these people who they call themselves furries are getting together for, it's basically, Comic-Con. This is FurryCon, basically, in Glasgow, Scotland. And they are issuing very strong cautionary language. Harassment of any kind will not be tolerated.
No.
You cannot make fun of the person's fursona. The animal that the person...
Fursona?
Not a
Come on.
fursona. I'm not making any of this up.
Yeah.
Listen, if you are an adult and you go to a city like Glasgow, Scotland, where, by the way, in Glasgow, they'll smack you in the head just for looking the wrong way in Glasgow.
Yeah, right.
You know what? You know who's walking the streets of Glasgow? Toughs. Bunch of toughs.
And they've been drinking a lot of scotch.
Yeah, a bunch of guys named Butch are walking around, and Butch doesn't have any double entendre. It's just you're going to get your ass kicked if you cross Butch. And they walk around Scotland, and you can't understand a damn word they say, and then they throw punches, and then no guns, knives, hurts more. They're just all hardcore. Scotland's no place to get your ass kicked, is my point.
Well, we don't know. Some of these furries, now this happened a couple of years ago, just 2 years ago, a fight broke out at a furry meetup in California. Apparently, these people that dress up in these animal costumes and pretend to be animals get a little annoyed when other people notice you in public. That I don't understand. Yeah, so there's just a dude standing there on the beach, and of course, with his phone, he does what any one of us would probably do. He just starts recording him, and one furry, Wolfie, had enough.
We will make you leave! You can let go of him anytime!
Yeah. Oh, he hit him with his megaphone. Yeah. I went after him. It got so bad, I guess they had to call the Paw Patrol. Sorry. I couldn't even spit it out, man. If you're going to be weird in public, you're going to get gawked at, you know. It reminds me of walking through Uptown, the McDonald's up there, and there's a guy sitting there on the sidewalk with this huge purple, like the spiking Viking used to do at the Vikings game, purple mohawk. Yeah. And I was staring at him. He goes, "What are you staring at?" "Your huge purple mohawk, idiot." You know, don't wear a huge purple mohawk if you don't want to be noticed. So, furries, good luck in Scotland. We're going to follow this one. I hope to get some good audio out of it.
We won't understand a word of it because, of course, that Scottish accent is just so hardcore on the ears. "No, he had these great fangs, and they come at me like a bunny rabbit from hell. I said, come down, put on a kettle." Man, the furries, the Scottish furry scene, man. You know, there was a time when the Glasgow punk rock scene was pretty exciting. Now it's all about the furry scene.
Now, where do they go to the bathroom? Do we have to have a bathroom? Do we have to put a litter box out for them in public? I don't. All right, we don't need to go down.
That's why, if you wonder why there's so much shrubbery around hotels in Glasgow, just out to the shrubbery. Number 3 on your top 5 at 9, Wendy's. Good old-fashioned hamburgers at Wendy's. Okay, so apparently Wendy's has a secret menu. Now, there's a very famous West Coast burger chain called In-N-Out. And In-N-Out, if you walk into an In-N-Out burger, they only have like 4 or 5 things you can order, but they have this secret menu with dozens of variations. For whatever reason, it exists. You just got to know what to ask for. That's In-N-Out's thing. But apparently Wendy's, which are not just West Coast, they're everywhere, has a secret menu. And if you go into a Wendy's, ask for a T-Rex burger. And not every Wendy's in America, but many of them will provide you with a T-Rex burger. It's a burger with cheese, lettuce, onions, tomatoes, pickles, ketchup, and mayo, 9 beef patties.
Where's the beef?
Yeah.
So Wendy's, you can get the single, the double, or the triple, or go for the nano, the 9-patty T-Rex burger.
What a mess. I mean, how do you get your mouth around that thing? I don't know, you know?
I'm not really sure. I'm curious. When you say T-Rex, I don't think of the biggest burger in the world. I think of a giant animal with little tiny arms. And so somehow I feel like you're supposed to eat it with your elbows touching your trunk the whole time. I'm picturing that, but maybe that's just me.
Just kind of wrestle with it a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
Good and greasy. Oh, yeah.
T-Rex burger Wendy's. I'm tempted to try this. I'm tempted just to see if it happens and if they actually say, because I don't know, if Wendy's has had a secret menu this whole time, there was a time in my life when I could have used that information.
Yeah.
Number 2 in your top 5 at 9. A new poll is out. American men have been asked with Valentine's Day next weekend, what do you guys want? And ladies, yeah, you're welcome in advance because men want nothing.
Nothing?
Almost half of the men polled said, you know what, I don't want a damn thing for Valentine's Day. Just, you know what I want, honey? I want you to just take care of you. You have your day, whatever you want. That's a man's way of just going, I just, please leave me alone. Just, just give me some time to myself.
Yeah, when I was married with the kids, I repurposed it as another Mother's Day. I'm like, well, this is a chance for all 3 of you, the 2 daughters and mom, to, go have a special day. I'm out of, and then other dads would go, no, that's when you're supposed to give them a break, like Mother's Day. I'm like, wow, man, we just see life differently, I guess. But, yeah, it's, I don't know. I never really feel like you can win on that deal. But, if you're with the right gal, it's not a big deal, right?
No.
I mean, you don't have, if you've got to prove yourself on Valentine's Day, then, you just as well head on down the road.
Rosemary said early on something she may very well regret now, but she said, we don't need to celebrate. I mean, that's such a silly holiday, and what we have is far greater than anything on Valentine's Day. It's made up. No, every day is love, and we're perfect, and we're soulmates. She just laid that whole thing on me, and all I heard was this. I don't have to get her anything for Valentine's Day. Ever.
Oh, I thought maybe it was headed down that path of, and then you didn't get her anything for Valentine's Day, and she gave you the cold shoulder.
No. It still that hasn't happened, but I do feel like it's still. I will never think that the horse has left the barn. I mean, I'm like waiting for it. Sooner or later it's gonna happen, and it's not gonna be. You didn't get me anything for Valentine's Day. It's gonna be. You didn't get me anything for Valentine's Day for the 35th year in a row.
Avalanche.
Just waiting on that one. Hey, Cambridge, Minnesota. Good morning.
Yep.
Our friends in Cambridge, and you know who you are. We're happy to have you with us this morning. If you have not left the house yet, just don't. It's cold as hell. I'm sorry, cold as hail out there, which we've learned is actually what the expression was always supposed to be. Speaking of cold, man, the NHL, number one on your top 5 at 9, have come in cold and hard on Ryan Hartman. Now, Ryan Hartman was penalized recently for slamming an opponent's head to the ice with his right arm on a face-off. And the league, after reviewing this situation, said, yeah, you know what? You need to sit for 10 games, Ryan Hartman. A match Saturday night against Ottawa. And, boy, they took a look at the video. And there's no denying that it's definitely should have been a foul call. It's a penalty, I should say.
Right.
But 10 games, seems a little stiff to me.
It's because, Hart has a history of this, you know. He gets himself into these situations, and it's old for us oldsters. It's old Bobby Clark play, right? So it's hockey, and he crosses the line. But I think he's had so many suspensions now that they're automatics.
Oh yeah,
and I don't know if the 10 game is an automatic. I thought it might be like a 5 gamer, but you just hate to lose him. With I think Brody might be coming back, Johansson out, and of course Kaprizov out. We just don't need any more of the top players out. But, take your medicine. If you're going to play hockey like that, you got to, these days.
Oh, no, it is compounding interest. It's compounding interest for these, for what you get penalized with. It's his 5th suspension, but his 4th just since 2023.
Oh.
And the collective bargaining agreement does say players who repeatedly violate league playing rules shall be more severely punished for each new violation. So I read that, I interpret that as the next time Hartman does basically anything, it's 12, 15 games. So short leash, bud. Come on.
Yeah, you just got to reel her in, and it usually happens. I'm sorry to say, it happens a lot of times when the Wild are down a couple of goals, right? So then it doesn't look good, and you just got to keep. He's a very competitive guy. He's a scrapper out there, and you just got to, like you said, reel her in. Not good for the team, man. Not good for your career. How much money is he going to lose on this deal?
About just under $500,000 for those 10 games.
Damn it!
Ouch!
Yeah.
Ouch!
Yeah.
Probably not hurting as much as that dude for Ottawa after he got his face slammed in the ice, but hey, it's pain nonetheless.
Yeah.
All right, there is your top 5 at 9.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.